Hey basketball coaches and basketball players, my name is Alan from Al's Basketball Training, and today I'm going to give you some fantastic press defenses that I know will help your team win more games. However, really quickly, on the bottom of the video, this video is going to be in chapters, and same as all of my other videos coming in the future as well. YouTube added this new fantastic feature, so definitely something to check out. It'll help you kind of navigate this video a little bit better as well. Let's get down to the clipboard. Let's check out these basketball plays. Hit that like button and subscribe all at the same time. Okay, so this first play is a 1-2-2 full court press defense. So the idea in every single press defense is to try and get that ball towards the sideline so that you can trap and have a double team along the sideline so that obviously you're not having the other team go anywhere. So the idea behind this one, player one most likely is going to get that ball. Whoever gets that ball, either way, player one is going to go and defend that player and try to force that player towards the sideline. Meanwhile, we're going to be having player two. He's going to be moving down just a bit, but these two secondary players are not going to be going past that free throw line extended. This is not their area, so they should not be there. Same as these back two players, they should not be going over that half court line. This is not their area. So let's say they reverse that ball back around. We're going to have player 3 and 2 clog up the middle so that player 3 is forced to go towards the sidelines and not up the middle. But either way, when he tries to go up the middle, we want to have player 1 cut him off. Now those two players are going to be spreading out, and same as our two players. The whole idea is single coverage up here. As soon as the ball gets into this area, or this area, it's going to be a double team. Everywhere down the middle is single coverage to try and force the ball towards the sidelines. Next, what we're going to have is player 3. He's going to try and probably dribble up towards the side, and if that happens, we are going to still be in single coverage, but player 3 is going to back up enough right along that line. So basically picturing that free throw line, or that key line, all the way up the middle. He's going to be now kind of straddling that line. That way, player 1 continues to force player 3 towards that sideline. As soon as player 3 gets on this side of that imaginary line, it's going to be a double team. Now, if player 1 goes over towards the middle to try and go up the middle so that we can reverse, or they can reverse that ball, I really want player 2 to be not going past that free throw line, but he is going to be sitting right at the middle. This defense is extremely deadly, especially if you're running it this way. If they do reverse that ball to try and get that ball up, I need player 2 to move over to cut off any forward progression of player 2. Player 4 needs to cover the middle. Player 5 needs to cover whoever is over here. Player 1 is going to be sprinting over as fast as possible to try and trap player 2 towards that sideline, and player 3 is going to be covering the middle. If this zone does get beat, however, you need to get your team back on zone or man-to-man defense as soon as possible. Also, go check out my Unbeatable Basketball Defense book or my Perimeter Basketball Defense book. Both amazing defenses. Links are in the description below. Okay, so now this second play is going to be a 4-1 half-court trap. This is a very deadly half-court trap as well, and this actually slides very nicely into my my perimeter basketball defense as well. So again, go check that out if you feel like having a defense that nobody else is going to be running. However, what we're going to be doing here is if player 1 tries to go up the middle, player 1 and 2 need to cut him off and force him towards the sidelines. You can also run this play by having player 1 and 2 just past half by maybe a foot, but no more, and they need to force that ball towards the sidelines. When that happens, let's say player 1 passes over to player 2 or he dribbles, doesn't really matter. The ball gets to that side either way. We want player 2 to go and continue to cover and force over towards this side. We want player 5 to cover this side. We want player 1 to back up to cover the middle. And we want player 4 to move back roughly around the elbow to cut off any passes or any touchdown passes towards that other opposite side of the court. He should be able to pick any of those off. Now, the whole idea is to trap player 2 right here so that now If player 2 was to get trapped along that corner, he obviously can't go back over half. Obviously, he can't go out of bounds. And with these players here, he should not be able to dribble anywhere. Player 1 is going to then cover the middle, and player 4 is going to move up, or how you can run it is player 1 covering here, player 4 moves to the middle. It's up to you. You can run it either way. So basically, the perimeter basketball defense is a double team from the free throw line and above, if you were wondering. Now, this next play is a 1-2-1-1, or also called a diamond full court press. Now, again, the whole idea is to try and force players towards the sidelines and trap them. Now, with this one, it is sort of similar to that 1-2-2. However, back here, you're really clogging up the middle for any passes to go towards the middle. So player 1 gets that ball. Player 1 is going to go and guard him. Player 3 is going to be covering that side to try and continue to force towards that sideline. Player 2 is going to be playing middle. Player 3 gets that ball back on the reverse. I really don't want these two players to go past that free throw line extended. I want player 3 and 2 to go and clog up the middle, and player 1 to go and cut off the forward progression of player 3. Now, if he does swing the ball quickly, which is what they should really be doing, then we really want player 2 to go over, player 4 to cover, and player 5 to go over, and player 3 to move back. This is how I personally run it. Now, player 1, he's going to go over, and he's going to be covering the middle, while player 2, he's going to be forcing player 2 blue towards that corner, or at least towards the sideline along here. Personally, I would prefer it to be along the half-court line, mainly because that allows player 4 to cover the pass in this area if there was one. So essentially, they're double or single coverage, forcing the sideline or forcing to go up the sideline until player 4 basically jumps on him and traps him along that sideline. So the 3-2 half-court press is the next play that I really enjoy running. And basically, this is a great trap defense. We're going to have single coverage up the middle. And now, if player 1 dribbles or passes towards that side, we want player 4 to cover that side, player 5 to move over towards the middle of the key, and we really want player 2 to force player 2 blue towards that corner for player 1 to jump on him and player 3 to cover the middle. Now, the whole idea is to get player 2 into that corner, and just like anytime you trap in that corner, you're going to have 3 players in the back covering a zone, just like so. Now, this fifth and final defense is a very difficult one to understand, a very difficult one to run. So if you're running a coach, if you're coaching a team that you're running and they're not exactly advanced, you probably don't want to run this zone. But let's check it out anyways, because it is very effective. So this is called the run and jump zone. So you could start it as a 1-2-1-1. I like to really personally start it as a 1-2-2 or as a 2-2-1. It doesn't really matter how exactly you start it, but the principles are the same. So let's say player 1 gets that ball. We're going to have player 2 on player 1. And now we're going to have player 3 running in bounds. Of course, just like always, they're going to go and reverse it. We're now going to have player 1 cover that player 3 move up, and player 4 cover the middle. Now, what we're going to see is single coverage until you get towards that sideline. So let's say we have player 3 dribbling towards that sideline, and we have player 2 go and run towards the middle or down court. We're now going to have that double team already set up towards that sideline. If they reverse that ball over to player 1, I want to see player 2 move down and cover that singly. And now we're going to be having player 1 run over towards this side, and that's the jump. That's the run and the jump. So now we're trying to force the trap towards that sideline. And now we are going and having player 5 rotate over towards this side to cover whatever player is over here. Player 4 is covering his old position, and player 3 is covering any reverse passes or anything down the middle. We can have player 4 do that as well. So the whole main idea here is that run and jump. So we got that reverse. We're going to go and have player 2 cover down. And now we're going to be having player 1 run over and cover while player 3 is covering the deep pass. And now we're going to be having him go over and cover this side. Meanwhile, player 3 is being forced over, and we're going to have player 1 jump on top of player 3. Not physically, but just metaphorically. I hope that this video has helped you become a better basketball coach, player, and team. If it has, hit that like button and subscribe, and I will see you guys again in our next video.